news, politics, music, and stupid internet culture. Broadcasting live from the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. This is the Okie Patriot 76 podcast.
All right. What is up, everybody? Hope everybody out there is doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. Really do appreciate everybody's time out there. Sorry for the lack of episodes. I've been kind of working behind the scenes on social media for the past few weeks. Just enjoying that. And, you know, I really enjoy digging through the internet and finding content to post. And I really do like that, but unfortunately Instagram doesn't like that. And last Thursday or Friday, Instagram, my main page on Instagram, the reach was decreased by 90% pretty much, and I'm basically without a page now because it doesn't, if you post stuff, it goes nowhere. Give you an example, I posted a picture the other day and I checked back the next morning, like 24 hours later, one like out of 6,000 people. And over the past 2-3 weeks, today is October the 14th. Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been posting lots of content, and it's been amazing. We were reaching, the number on the account said 500,000 people. The last 30 days we're reaching, and it was crazy. I mean, I that one video I posted of the hurricane, I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000 likes about FEMA, and I used a artist. If you don't know Cade Mower, he's an artist that put out a new song called Dangerous Ones. A really good song. Go check it out. But that post was basically a promotion for that song. And some people may be mad at that, but they were wanting me to help promote that song. And I mean, they didn't ask me to post that video. I just found that video on TikTok, and I posted it. I didn't think it would go anywhere, but it reached, I think, 25,000 views or something, which is crazy for a page that my size. But I think that Instagram saw what I was posting, and they didn't like it. I was posting a lot of content. Go check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen. But I was posting all kinds of content about the hurricane. Lots of videos went viral regarding that. Of course, I'm going to be talking about that. But they didn't ding me on that. They dinged me on a Tim Waltz video. They said I was posting too much of other people's content, which that's basically what Instagram is. I mean, like every other page does that in the conservative movement. Like, if you're a news page, you're posting other people's content. They dinged me on the Coca-Cola Jesus video I posted a few weeks ago. But the Tim Waltz video really pissed me off. Just really pissed me off, because I went on there and I was fact checking that video. I posted the original video. So if you don't know, this Tim Waltz video of him dancing, it's not him. It's not Tim Waltz. It's some video that somebody photoshopped of like a gay cruise or something, and they made it low quality. And I went and found the original. I did dig through the internet to find it. I went and found the original video. Everybody was posting it, and then some moron posted it again, and then it went viral again. And I call these people morons on the right because they don't do research, and they don't they don't care about the truth. They just care about their next click and their next view. They did it with a video of Karine Jean-Pierre. They did it with a video of Trump recently visiting the hurricane. That video of him hugging that military guy, that older gentleman. That video was not from this year. It was from 2019 when a tornado hit Alabama. But they took that video and ran with it, and it's just, people on the right scream about fake news, and then they put fake news out there in the world, and it's just embarrassing. But anyway, this Tim Waltz video of him dancing, I basically went on Instagram. I was like, out of all the things to get Tim Waltz on, this is what you get him on. This is what you're posting about. You think that this is Tim Waltz, and I went on there. I said, hey, this is not Tim Waltz, and then they went ahead and just dinged my account anyway. So I don't know. I think they use those videos. They use those videos, and I was posting a lot of anti-vax stuff. I was sharing. If you haven't heard this Alexis Loren story, I'm a little bit late talking about it on the pod, but go check out her story. I post a lot of content. I was updating her. I haven't really checked her page. She got deleted. I think she got deleted on TikTok. They took her page. But if you don't know her story, I may get into it in the show later, but that story really pissed me off. Just that whole thing with her. But I was posting those updates and those videos, a lot of anti-vax stuff. And then with this hurricane, posting a lot of videos. And I think that Instagram they saw the reach. I was able to reach people, and it was wild. Like I was like, I've never seen the page go that viral and get that much reach. And there for a while, I was like, I thought, I was like I saw that, Mark Zuckerberg hired this Republican consultant dude, and I thought, well, maybe Instagram is fixed. Maybe they learned their lesson with all, all these, like all the backlash. And he was complimenting Trump a couple months ago, and I thought maybe the time has come that Instagram, they're allowing free speech. And of course, there's going to be rules, right? But no, they're back to their old self. So, with that being said, I want to bring back the podcast because I feel like I'm shouting into an empty room on social media, and I want to let you guys know that I'm also on Twitter. I had a couple posts go semi-viral on Twitter, so you can please follow me there. So you can see my content that I post, and I try to talk about, like, if you're new here, I try to talk about trending stuff that's happening, Oklahoma news, country music news, and I give my own perspective on it. I am a conservative. I'm not really like a hardcore MAGA dude. I've been known to criticize Trump a lot on things that make sense. But I think that when it comes to this election, I think that he has to win, and he's definitely the guy that we need to put in there. And but I'm not like a Trump hardcore QAnon. Like, nothing against those people. Like, I think they're good people, but I've had to do a lot of self-healing this year. Just to be honest, like I recently been on my, like, this is way too personal, but like I recently been on like a health journey, and that has like really helped like my mental state. And anybody out there struggling with like that, it all boils down to like what you put in your body. And I don't know if you've been checking out these podcasts with Callie and Casey Means. If you haven't, like, if you don't know who these people are, fantastic people. Like, probably one of my favorite podcasts I've listened to in a while. Like, I'm a huge podcast guy. I listen to a lot of them. I don't listen to like a lot of political ones, but I listen to like, Joe Rogan and Tucker and Theo and just a lot of random podcasts, like, like sometimes I don't want to think about politics or trending news or anything, so I turn on like Theo had on Miranda Lamberg the other day, or Brooks and Dunn, he was on there too, and or I listen to random stuff, just random, random videos, and I'm ashamed to say I give YouTube money every month, but I do. I pay for premium with that. It's like the ad-free thing, and so I'm able to it's cool to listen to stuff like that without ads and not have to worry about it. But no, like if you haven't checked out the Joe Rogan episode with Callie and Casey Means, like it is so eye-opening. It is so wild what they put in our food, and we've been duped and lied to, and it's so expensive to eat healthy. It's so unfair to a lot of people that they can't. Groceries are expensive enough, and once you learn that there's like a handful of companies that own everything, and they have stock in all of these other companies, and they profit off of your sickness. It's just horrific. Like, it's really disturbing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm voting for Trump, is because I think Robert F. Kennedy is needed up there to hopefully put a dent in that problem. And I think it's a huge problem. And it has nothing to do with politics. You should be. I think everybody should get on board with being healthy. One of the things I've been doing is like the carnivore diet, and getting cutting out preservatives and like anything that's like processed, ultra processed foods. It's not good for you, and it's horrible. And I watched a video of this guy who was like, I follow like a lot of these carnivore pages, and this guy, I can't remember his name, but he goes up to people and interviews people in grocery stores, which I think is kind of weird. But anyway, he asked this guy, like, would you take $100 to not drink this Dr. Pepper? He was buying a pack of Dr. Pepper, and he was like, would you take $100 if I said don't drink pop for a month? He's like, no. And this dude, and he wasn't overweight or anything, he looked fine. He was drinking 8 to 10 Dr. Peppers a day. And that's just like, what? Like, how is that even healthy? Like, how is that even remotely? But now I know why people are so overweight and unhealthy. I mean, it's bad. I don't even like drink a lot of pop. Like, maybe I want to say maybe once in a blue moon. But like I can't function without like a shit ton of water. Like like I said, I do the carnivore diet, and which is not a lot of, it's a lot of eggs, it's a lot of meat, and so you feel dehydrated. And so I do like these like electrolyte packets. I put some I think it's called Liquid IV. I want to try that. I want to try that Lament. It's called Lament. I don't know if anybody out there has tried that, but I want to try that. But I feel incredible. I feel really good, and I recommend anybody out there do that. It's so wild that the system out, like the so many people out there have been brainwashed into thinking that like zero sugar stuff or like fat-free stuff is healthy, and it's not. And so I don't know. I'm doing my own thing. I feel good. You do yours. I believe in freedom. Like, if you want to, eat all that stuff, you can. Like, but I feel so much better. Like, it is so wild, the difference I've been able to feel like over the past couple months. But anyway, so I I think I'm going to transition this into a radio show. This is going to be so. I am recording this, like the video of it, and I'll upload clips and stuff like that. But the whole show will be on just podcast platforms, and I'll play audio, I'll play videos and stuff like that, like the audio from the video on things I want to talk about. But for the most part, I think right now I just want to, start doing consistent shows, and maybe I'll move back over to video, and where it'll be like a full video episode. But yeah, man, I just over the past couple weeks, my mind has been with the people in North Carolina, and it's just like so wild to see all the people. Like my TikTok is full of people like that, and it's all about algorithms. Like that's what I tell it to show me. And but I'm getting all kinds of content from North Carolina. Like a lot of creators from North Carolina, a lot of people who live there are showing up on my algorithm. And I was listening to this woman today, and she was saying that the people that have been assessed by FEMA, the people that have been went through the process of the FEMA inspection or whatever, are being told that they are not allowed to rebuild on their land. So we'll see what happens there. I have been like I put up a list the other day about people about donations, and I am still trying to find a good place to donate to. Like obviously the Samaritan's Purse is a good organization. The United Cajun Navy is a good organization. There's so many people out there. Mercury One, Glenn Beck was out there as well. There's so many good people out there doing some good work. I mean, obviously you have Elon Musk doing what he did. But I was trying to find a location that people could ship supplies to, but I can't find a good location other than I do know Frontier Coffee out of Morristown. I think it's Morristown or Morrisville. Let me see what it is. I think it's let me see. I think it's Morris, Tennessee. Morristown? Is it Morristown? It's Frontier Coffee. Morristown. Yeah. You can ship stuff there. They have an address on their social media. You can ship to. They're mainly wanting like winter gear and stuff like that, but they have a full list on their Instagram, Frontier Coffee Company. And if you're in the Dallas area, you can bring stuff by Shell Shock CBD. I think that's in Richardson, Texas, somewhere outside of Dallas. John Burke is the owner or the co-owner of that. It's a CBD company, and really good product. I've tried it. I tried it a couple times. It's a great product. It is a really good. If you're struggling with sleep and all that kind of stuff, this is not a sponsor, by the way, but I tried it a couple times. It was way too overpowering for me, and I'm not used to taking that type of product, so I switched back to like a regular melatonin. I think I'm going to start ordering that again, honestly, and I'm going to take half of it because I'm trying to like switch over supporting companies that align with my values, and John is a really good dude, and I really respect a lot of what he does. But those are the donation centers, but there's so many people, I would say find a local fire department in North Carolina. Probably rural the better, because these rural areas are being hit the hardest, and there's so much about this that's not being that's not being aired. There's so many things that a lot of people don't know and will never know, because I mean for one, the death toll, there's a lot of talk about that. It could be, a lot of people are saying it could be in the thousands. There's still people missing. There's still people that don't have any idea what's going on. And I heard that there was like a family of 11 that got killed in their house. It's horrific. there's so many stories. Like I said, over the past couple weeks, if you're on TikTok, if you're on my TikTok, if you follow me over there, I reposted a lot of those videos, and some of them I shared, but I didn't want to overfill my Instagram with that content. But I shared what I could, and I shared good, like the best of the best videos and the videos that had important information. I think right now, of course, winter is coming, and winter is here. It's getting colder, and so the big things that they need um, is coats and hand warmers and boots and socks and generators and well, let me just pull up that list. Frontier Coffee, because he had a really good Frontier Coffee Company. This is a handwritten propane tanks, socks, hand warmers, electrolyte drinks, batteries, fuel, generators, solar panel, dehumidifiers, water. Water filtration systems is a really good. That's a really good thing that they probably need. Aqua tabs, electric heaters, sleeping bags, tarps, tents, beanies, gloves, mittens, unscented bleach, simple green hand soap bottles that are small, mops and shovels, chainsaws, probably grills, and like a little portable stove, like gas stoves, little camping stoves, pots and pans, of course, like cooking supplies. But there's a lot of people. I saw McDonald's was there, a lot of restaurants were there, but there's only so much you can eat of that. I mean, even if you're like in that situation, there's lots of people who are diabetic who can't eat certain things. And I also want to stress, like, I saw this video, and I don't think that this message is being talked about a lot, but diabetic foods, a lot of people are not, like, they're sending like canned goods, and these people are thankful for that. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm not trying to sound like ungrateful for them. I'm so grateful that they're getting the help that they need out there. But diabetics, there's a lot of diabetics out there, and they can't eat certain foods. And so, one of the things, if you're out there sending stuff, almonds is good, pine bars is good, stuff like that is not a lot of like preservatives or not a lot of crap in it, because when your blood sugar gets low, it's not good. And so I thought I would put that out there. But I put up a list on my Twitter, and I posted it. If you're sending clothes, be sure to label like what size and all that kind of stuff on the outside. Like if you put in a trash bag or something. But yeah, these people, they so I put up I'm gonna put in the description below. There's like a couple of Amazon wish lists. So one is from the Cajun Navy. You can go and check that out, and if you just want to buy that, it goes to the Cajun Navy, and it goes to their warehouse in, I think, Louisiana, and they ship it out to people. But I looked at that list, and there's not a lot of options. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on there, but there's not a lot of options for like diabetics. There's also another list I'm going to put out there. It's for some organization out of Virginia. I can't remember the name. It's like Godspeed or something like that. Godsend. They have some diabetic stuff on there. So like some almonds and nuts and granola bars and stuff like that. So, but I'm gonna put up a couple lists up there in the description below if you want to help out. A lot of people are asking me about that, and I kind of have felt helpless over the past couple weeks because I'm here in Oklahoma and I don't have a lot of resources to help other than this platform, and I've been devoting the platform to that and putting out information that's important. And I think that that's all you can do. I think that you definitely don't want to be like a burden on people, like, because like I've seen a lot of videos where like a lot of people are like overcrowding the situation, or they're donating way too much. I even heard of people donating old food that had like that was like had maggots and stuff in it, and I was just like, that's gross. That is disgusting. Um, lots of stories, but yeah, like the people in North Carolina, I heard the other day that they passed the voting thing, which a lot of people are kind of concerned about. North Carolina is an important state for Trump, and if he doesn't win North Carolina, doesn't win. So it's a pretty important state. Um, and I think he will. I think the people there are so pissed. It took a couple of days for people to realize, and that's why I think the federal government was so slow to act on this. Is they wanted it to be delayed as much as possible so they couldn't have an election. And that's why these people are being turned away. And like, I've even heard of FEMA. Early on we heard FEMA was taking supplies, but even as of a couple days ago, I heard of FEMA shutting down churches. And they shut down a church, or they tried to shut down a church because they didn't have a kitchen and they were serving food to people who lost everything. What an absolute disgrace! But I think the the biggest issue, the biggest thing is, like, they were just jealous of that normal people who didn't do this for a living did it better than them. It's amazing to see people coming together on this. And we can talk about conspiracies and like lithium mines and like, are they going to take the land, or are they going to steal the election, or can they control the weather? I will say that having a hurricane that far inland is a very strange thing. I was listening to Chad Prather, his podcast. He had a pastor on. He said that in his 50 years of life, he'd never even seen even a tornado in his area. And I thought that was strange. I thought that was weird. I also heard that, speaking of the lithium mines, I'll just talk about this for a second. There's so many, people talking about that. I think that there is something there. I'm not an expert on that, but I will say that it's definitely something sketchy. In Spruce Pines, I heard somebody on TikTok. Now, take this with a grain of salt. It was on TikTok, but somebody who knew one of these mine owners, these lithium mine, somebody who owned one of these mines, had been visited by, within the past year, from Chinese companies wanting to buy. And none of the ones that she has seen has sold out yet. But of course, we all saw, I think it was in Spruce Pines or maybe Black Mountain or one of the other places, they had a contract with the government for like $90 million. And they have some of the, it's has one of the biggest mines in the world there. So, I mean, that land is worth billions and billions of dollars. And a lot of people were talking about back to FEMA. FEMA was like the same company who is doing the inspections. The same company who's doing these inspections is the same company. Like, what was it? The same company doing the inspections is like the same company who owns these mines. Like, it all leads back to BlackRock. I posted a video. There's so much information coming out of this, and I just totally lost what I was going to say. I apologize, but it basically all leads back to BlackRock. The same. Let me just pull up that video right quick. Let me see if I can play that video, because I posted it. I posted that video. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the point. It all leads back to BlackRock. These companies, like, it's just so frustrating to see these people. These people, they are in a horrible situation, and I'm so glad that Americans are coming together and helping these folks. But I also just think that, man, what what kind of people, what kind of government would do this to their own people? Like they have a disaster, and then all they can come up with is $750 to help these people out. Now, don't get me wrong, FEMA is there, not that, not to the capacity that I would want, but they are there. They're probably more in the way than anything. But I have not heard. That's another thing. I've not heard of a single person um approved by for this FEMA thing. Now I will say this: a lot of people are talking about the $750 is a loan. It's not a loan. It's a grant. A lot of people on the right are like correcting this, and they're saying that's not true. That's one of the things I will say about the right. They say stuff and they don't correct it, and they put it out there, and it goes more viral than the actual information. And I've been guilty of that as well. I mean, you can't be an expert on everything. You can't look into every little thing, but I've tried to really vet this information. I've tried to really like look into things and say, is this true? But sometimes it's hard. But the $750 is not a loan. It's a grant. But what they are giving out are business loans to people who lost their business. And let's say that they are approved for, like, their insurance is like, let's say it's $100,000 worth of damage, and their insurance is like they're going to give them $20,000, but they need $100,000 to open up. Well, FEMA can give them $80,000 to, and that's a loan, right? And so, that's what the loan thing was talking about. People were talking about that, so I just wanted to correct that. But people are not getting that even. I posted a story of this woman. Her father lived, or her father lived in Florida, and so FEMA has this thing. I think they can give 42,000. They're approved up to 42,000 for the home, and then 42,000 for like possessions, like furniture and appliances, which is not much. I mean, if you lose a $500,000 home and you don't have flood insurance, you're fucked, right? But they have this thing that they can give out up to that amount. Well, this woman's family member got his house destroyed. I mean, luckily he's alive, but his house was destroyed, and the most that they was going to give this guy, $2,600. $2,600. Meanwhile, you have, illegal immigrants in all of these states getting state benefits, getting federal benefits, getting thousands and thousands of dollars a month in benefits for food and housing and all this shit. I mean, as soon as you walk into the country illegally, they just hand you a plane ticket to anywhere. I mean, it's just insane. It's just bonkers, dude. It's absolutely insanity. But to, see some of these videos is absolutely heartbreaking. A lot of these people, I saw this one woman who had survivor's guilt because a lot of her people that she knew died. And it's almost like, I have looked at all the videos out there, not all of them, but like most of the videos, like Mark Honeycutt. Mark Honeycutt is a YouTuber, or the guy on YouTube that put up a bunch of videos. A lot of other people are there. I've watched, some pretty disturbing videos and just heartbreaking footage of what's going on there, but it doesn't even do it justice. It's really heartbreaking. It's literally like a war zone, and so to hear these people have these people, it's going to take a long, long time for these people to recover physically, and it's going to take years mentally. And the tragic thing is, like, if the flood didn't kill these people, the aftermath, I'm hearing, unfortunately, people are taking their lives in North Carolina, and it's a horrible thing. Mental health, and I hope that there's resources there. Yes, there's food resources and there's things to take care of the immediate needs, but there's going to be tons of trauma and tons of PTSD involved with that, and hopefully that there's resources. I don't think there is, unfortunately, and if there's anybody out there that knows anything about that, I would like to spread the word on that, because I think that's important. But yeah, it's I heard a story of a nursing home way up in the mountains, or like the roads were blocked off. I don't know where it was, but the roads were blocked off, and they had to get to it by air. And all the workers in this nursing home went home to be with their families, and they had some dead people in there, and they were there for days. I mean, a lot of them. It was just a horrific story. I mean, it's just a horrible thing. The heartbreaking thing. And unfortunately, this is going to be one of these stories. And I hope people won't forget about North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee and surrounding areas, because it's going to take months and months and months to rebuild. And some of these communities are never going to be the same. It's going to be an ongoing fight, an ongoing battle. But I'm thankful for these organizations in that community stepping up, and just see all these people like Jonathan Howard, and these these badass people like Greg Biff, and like all these people who stepped up and put their own ass on the line, and paid for everything themselves. And I mean, they were paying what was it, $10,000 a day or $10,000 a week or something like that, just in fuel, just boom, they paid for it out of their own pocket. It's just this. I mean, what's happening in North Carolina is sad, but to see the people stepping up is absolutely incredible. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. I think people, yes, it's a horrible thing, but the positive out of this is, like, it doesn't really matter who you voted for or who you support in this election. People are stepping up, and people are wanting to help and helping in a big way, and I think that's incredible. And so yeah, like I said, if you want to donate, like, find a local church, find a fire station, and send those items there, and Frontier Coffee, like I said. So anyway, I can go on and on and on about the hurricane. I think that it's a story that's going to be ongoing, and I hope that people don't forget about it. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, and for the past couple weeks, I think that people shouldn't lose sight of what's going on there. But but it's good to see. Like, I saw this video, and I'll close with this on this topic. They had a shower place, and I was worried about that, because I saw these pictures, these comments on TikTok. People were like, I haven't had a shower in like 2 weeks. Some of these people, like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I know how I get, like, after 2 days or like a day of, like, I'm like, I feel horrible. Like, I feel so disgusting. And there's places there to take showers. Like, Shower Up is an organization that's there, and there's like mobile shower units there. So that's so good. What else? Oh yeah. So the Sean Ryan thing. I want to talk about that. Sean Ryan had on Jonathan Howard from Aerial Recovery, and they misspoke on some things when it comes to the photo op. And I just want to play. So that was a great episode, by the way. That was a fantastic episode. But I want to play Sean Ryan. I want to play his response to this whole thing. Here is Sean Ryan.
I have to set the record straight on something. There was some misinformation put out on my podcast, The Sean Ryan Show, in regards to the Hurricane Helene episode. And I need to set the record straight on that. It was put out on the podcast that Vice President Harris went to North Carolina to pose on a C-17, that's a cargo plane full of supplies that were never intended to reach the hurricane victims. That's how it was put out on the podcast. Friday morning, we received a message on social media from a crew member on that bird, that plane, that said that that was only partially true. The supplies never left that day because that specific plane broke down. They ushered the supplies to a different plane, and that was delivered the very next day. Now, I reached back out to my guest to reconfirm with his source, which was an officer in that National Guard unit, that the original story was correct, and the source did confirm that the story of the bird never intending to leave was correct. Well, now it's Sunday morning, and more news has developed, to include the flight logs of those birds in a statement released by the National Guard unit. And so I need to correct the error here. Those supplies were, yes, they were delivered to the hurricane victims. And I want to say something. You know, we live in a time where I think a lot of people are getting information from podcasts because they don't believe the mainstream media. And I'm one of them. But if we put out misinformation, guess what? We're no better than the mainstream. And so that's something you guys need to think about when you're putting information out. And when you're an active service member putting misinformation out. That's a disgrace.
Totally agree. Sean Ryan is one of my favorite guys out there in the podcast space. Love his show 100%. I found him accidentally. Like I think the first episode I checked out was it has nothing to do with politics, but John Deloney. John Deloney is a guy from Dave Ramsey's network, and he's like a Dr. Phil meets Jerry Springer. He has people call into his show and talk about their problems, and they spend like 30 minutes to an hour talking about. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. But John Deloney was on there. Also, Struggle Jennings, Chris was on there. Oh, and so I've been a fan of his for forever. I checked out the RFK episode, and so fucking good. Also, another podcast like that is Ed Clay. Ed Clay is fucking amazing. Ed Clay had on Alex Rosen, who is like of Predator Poachers, and if you don't know who he is, go check out his channel. He's a friend of the podcast, and he follows me, and I've talked with him in the DMs. Disagree with him on some things, but I'll just leave it at that. Regarding certain things about Trump and all that kind of stuff, but he's a really cool guy. Alex is, but really good to see him getting the recognition over the past year. I think he was on Michael Knowles' show, but the Ed Clay episode was fucking good, dude. fucking good. Maybe he was on Sean Ryan too. I can't remember. But speaking of that, I want to branch over to, speaking of child predators, I want to talk about this story that has gone absolutely viral, and I have some breaking news as of a few minutes ago when I started the podcast. Let me see if I can find it again. Heather Spencer. So Heather Spencer, damn it, I can't find it. Let me see. Heather Spencer. Aaron. I found it accidentally. Okay, so Heather Spencer is the wife of Aaron Spencer. And if you followed me on social media over the past few days, I posted it a couple days ago. This Arkansas man, Aaron Spencer, being accused of killing Michael Fossler, who was found by Aaron with a 14-year-old daughter. And now he is being charged with first-degree murder and jailed in the Lucknow County Detention Center, a $50,000 bond. And so there was a GoFundMe set up, and apparently the victim, the Foster family, complained about it, or they reported it, and the GoFundMe took it down. Give, Send, Go. They raised about. So this is a statement from the wife. This is as of 15 minutes ago. It is truly unbelievable the amount of support we have received, not just locally, but from strangers all over the world. If there has been any light in this, it has been the public response and outgoing of charity. It seems that we still agree that children deserve our protection. In less than a week, we have raised over $100,000 and have been able to secure legal counsel and are hopeful that we are able to fight this charge. I have closed the Give, Send, Go. So when I went to it, I pulled up the links. I was going to read what was on the Give, Send, Go, because it was a good summary of what happened. And I clicked on it, and I thought Give, Send, Go took it down, but they closed it. All this money is being transferred to our legal fund. People may continue to support this cause and our family by going to Arkansas gun owners. So if you want to support them, if you're just now hearing of this story. So basically, I want to play this woman. I posted True Crime Mama on TikTok. She posted about the judge in Kentucky, I believe, that went viral. Which that was a crazy story. I'm not going to get into, but the judge in Kentucky that shot the sheriff in Kentucky that shot the judge. But I want to play this video. She did a pretty cool summary of the whole story, and this is Aaron Spencer out of Cabot, Arkansas, I think what it is. So here's Aaron Spencer.
Stories I have ever heard, and you guys know I don't curse a lot on this app, but this is some bullshit, so listen to this. This is Aaron Spencer. His 14-year-old daughter over this past summer was groomed and raped by a 67-year-old man named Michael Fossler, who was reportedly a friend of the Spencer family. Now, I don't have a photo of Michael just yet, but as soon as I can get one, I'll make a new post and share it with you guys. So Michael ended up being arrested. He was let out on a $50,000 bond. You guys know that is nothing. And 2 or 3 nights ago, Aaron and his wife woke up to find their 14-year-old daughter, the victim here, missing. They notified police, and in the meantime, Aaron did what any good father would do. He got in his vehicle and he went to search for his daughter. And while he was out searching on the road, he passed the vehicle of Michael Fossler, and guess who was inside? His 14-year-old daughter. So he's able to get Michael to pull over, and it sounds like a physical altercation ensued, and Aaron ends up ending the life of Michael. And now Aaron has been charged with first-degree murder, which is absolutely bizarre to me. I'm sorry, but like I said, he did what any good father would do. He should not be charged. This should be self-defense. So his family now has set up a GoFundMe, and 100% believe in this cause. I will link that GoFundMe in my link tree at the top of my profile if you feel led to.
So like I said, that was taken down, and the Give, Send, Go is no longer there, but you can still donate. So here is a article I found on Law and Crime. 36-year-old Arkansas husband and father was booked on suspicion of first-degree murder for shooting and killing a man accused of stalking and raping his daughter. Now, there was some speculation that that they knew this person. I guess it was a family friend, like he was dating a cousin or something like that, and it's crazy that he was let out. It's absolutely crazy that he was let out, and the father did the right thing. He should be pardoned, and he should be like, this is just insane. I mean, I understand due process, I understand the whole thing, but it's just like the dude raped his daughter. End of story. Next, like that. I mean, that should be enough for to say, okay, yeah, that there was evidence of that. Like Aaron Spencer, I never advocate, and I don't want to advocate for ending another person's life, but in my opinion, I think that he's a hero, and I think that he's saving taxpayer money. I'll just say that the good folks of Arkansas don't have to take care of that horrible human being anymore. Instead, it's just wild, dude. The sheriff's office said the shooting unfolded Tuesday, October 8th, as deputies were initially responding to a home on Highway 230 East. Following a report of a missing child that afternoon, a short time later, investigators learned that Aaron Spencer shot and killed 67-year-old Michael Fossler. During a conversation after Spencer found his daughter in a vehicle with Fossler, Spencer's wife, Heather, shared a Gifts and Go campaign and revealed that the couple's 13-year-old daughter several months ago was targeted, groomed, and raped by a boyfriend of a family friend, Fossler, after he got the child's phone number. Through Fossler's face pending felony charges and reportedly a no-contact order, he nevertheless contacted the minor victim while he was out on bond. We let the justice system do its job. The monster who hurt our children was charged quickly but released even faster on a $50,000 bond. And what's crazy is Aaron Spencer was released on a $150,000 bond. You got to be shitting me. Anyway, so the bond for the child molester was less than the dad protecting his daughter. Absolutely insane. Just insane. Makes my blood boil. Identifying her husband as a military veteran and hero, Heather said the arrest was outrageous. He said that the 911 call to report their daughter missing was made after they woke up to the sound of the girl's dogs barking. This is unusual and caused us to check on her. In that moment, we lived through every parent's biggest fear as we realized our teen child was missing. We frantically searched our home and property and started calling friends and 911. My husband immediately got into his truck to go blindly searching for our child. Heather said that her husband managed to find Foster driving on our road with our minor child in the vehicle. As soon as the predator knew my husband was behind him, he ran. The chase ended in an accident. Aaron was able to retrieve our child alive, but in the process, he was attacked and did what he had to do to protect himself and his minor. It sounds to me self-defense. It sounds to me self-defense. He is now facing an outrageous murder 1 charge. I have no doubt our child would have not come home if my husband hadn't found her. She added. Now, you can go read this article, but basically, this whole thing is just insane, fucking insane. It's a story that's not getting a lot of coverage right now. Aaron Spencer out of Arkansas. And it's one of those stories I found on TikTok. And TikTok, like, I had this one goober the other day. He was like, I don't like TikTok. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Really? All these videos coming out of like the hurricane, 100% of them I found on TikTok. And there is a reason why they want TikTok banned. For stories like this, I found this story on TikTok. I was like, how in the fuck have I not heard about this? it took 3 days for me to figure out. Now, I don't live in Arkansas, but I look at news all day. Like I am on Twitter all day, and I look at what's trending and what's not. And I just accidentally found this story, and this is just an insane story. Insane story. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. I think that's just ridiculous, but I hope that justice is served in that manner and charges are dropped, because if he goes to prison over this, I don't even want to think what could happen, because this is a insane story. I don't know. I understand, you have to go through the process. You have to go through the trial and all that kind of stuff. I get it. Totally understand that, but it's just like, man, this is a outrageous charge. Insane. Let's switch over to Vin Miller. So, Vin Miller is the guy yesterday that they are saying was going to end Trump's life, and they were calling it a third assassination attempt. So Trump yesterday was in Coachella. He spoke at Coachella, and immediately when I heard about this yesterday on the radio, I was just like, oh, great, another one. Like, this is just, it's just like, it's just so tiresome. It's so exhausting, just the news cycle of just like, but I was like, this is going to be some sketchy shit again. Like, was this guy in a BlackRock commercial? Like, what's the story this time? Right. Well, I pulled up this guy's video, and I want to play some of it because I think that they're lying about what happened. Of course they are. Ben Miller, who is a Canadian, he's from Canada. He's a documentary maker who has lived in California. Now he lives in Nevada. And he's been in the content production world for 30 plus years, or at least 25 years. Worked in Hollywood. And one thing I found interesting was, I've pulled up a video. I don't have it pulled up, but you can type it into X and find it. He has some beef. He has some dirt on Diddy. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can pull that clip up, because I think I bookmarked it here. Let's see here. I think I bookmarked it. See if I can find it here. P. Diddy owes this guy $30,000, and he worked with Diddy in the past. I may have not pulled it up or saved it here. Maybe not. But anyway, where is this? I think I had it somewhere. They were saying that, like, he posted videos of him mocking people who are wearing masks, and they thought this guy was like a psychopath. I don't know. Okay, here it is. Should have had it pulled up.
$30,000 from two.
This is from September 24th from the Frank Speech Network. It was an interview that Christy Lee did September 24th. And they also posted a video, a clip of him from October 1st, that he was being interviewed at some event somewhere, and he was talking about assassination attempt. I don't know. But here's what he had to say about P. Diddy.
2005, because I'd worked with him before as a music video director, and he ripped me off.
Can you tell me there?
So it's very interesting. P. Diddy actually owes me $30,000 from 2005, because I'd worked with him before as a music video director, and he ripped me off, just like he's ripped off so many people. I mean, the amount of people that I would meet that had songs ripped off from him, including a famous artist like Mace, by the way. He's been very upfront about it, that he wrote most of the hits that P. Diddy had. I mean, this guy was a professional thief. He certainly stole money from me, all verifiable, by not paying me. He's known for doing this. He was quite untouchable for a very long time. And those of us that have been in this business have always thought that this man was protected by the feds. In fact, we know he was protected by the feds for a very long time. And as this information's coming out, we're seeing shades of Jeffrey Epstein in terms of his parties. You know, I've been to a couple of his white parties, by the way.
So you can go watch that video. It's on Christy Lee's channel on X. I may retweet it. I'll just retweet it so you can go to my Twitter. You can go to my Twitter and look at that. That's one of the things I'll try to do on this podcast is like when I'm talking about things, I'll repost videos that I can't on Instagram. So follow me on X. But I don't know if P. Diddy had anything to do with it. But I just thought that was an interesting little key to the story, little thing, little minor detail in the story. But this seems like a setup to me, but I want to play his statement. I am not going to play the whole hour and 15 minutes. I'll play a few minutes of what he had to say. This is on America Happens Rumble channel. This is what he had to say. I'm starting at the 26-minute mark. If you want to go watch the full thing, but this is kind of a breakdown of what happened yesterday, and I'll come back and give my my final thoughts on this.
After going to multiple Trump rallies, whenever I'm in a place where there's a Trump rally, I tend to go. This is why I'm pretty sure that I might even be lowballing the number, I think it's around 20 that I've been to. It's probably more. Also, I've been to private events involving the president, involving the president's team like RFK Jr. And so I became a Trump caucus captain as well. And that's also verifiable. I went out and got votes for Donald Trump in the primary, and I'm talking about the primary of 2024, which is also verifiable. I became a Trump leader and got my beautiful Trump team leader t-shirt just a week ago for the work I've been doing in supporting our former president. And so I've been very involved, and this is why now leading to the events of October 12th, 2024, and I apologize, it took me 27 minutes to get to this, but I figure this is the one thing people are actually going to watch because they want to hear my story. So I felt that since I have your attention, might as well tell the story as a whole. And so in 2024, October 12th, 2024, October 12th, I had a special invite to go to the Trump Coachella rally. As somebody who, due to the content I've produced, around 2022, I started getting multiple death threats, okay? Until this point, I had never owned a firearm, and these death threats were either emailed to me with what I would call heinous pictures depicting violence. Scrabble pieces were mailed to me one by one, spelling the word dead. And so I became concerned. And many people that are aware that I was getting death threats had seen these Scrabble pieces, had knowledge of these death threats. So in 2022, I went and bought 2 firearms. I bought a Glock. I bought a shotgun. Until today, it is verifiable and true that these guns have never been fired. I have never been to a shooting range. That is literal. I've never been to a shooting range and I haven't shot these guns. But purely for protection, I bought these guns. And not only am I a novice when it comes to guns, I guess ignoramus would be a good way to describe it since I've never shot a gun. Doesn't seem that hard to point and shoot, but I am not I don't have any experience working with guns. And purely for protection, I purchased both these guns. And so prior to October 12th, every time I would go to a Trump rally, and most of these were in Nevada or states that are certainly not California, I would tell the police officers out of courtesy that, hey, my name is Van Miller. I work closely with the Trump campaign and individuals within the Trump campaign. I'm just letting you know that in the trunk of my car, I have 2 firearms. I'm certainly not going to take these firearms into the actual rally location. And by the way, there's metal detectors and stuff like that. So it's not like that is even possible. But I would clearly tell him that I got in the back of the truck. And the reason I would tell him this is because God forbid somebody broke into my truck or something. I want him to be aware of what was in there. And it was simply a common courtesy to the police. Furthermore, for anybody that does research on my 2022 campaign, they will see that I was a staunch supporter of the police. And I thought all this defund the police nonsense was purely that. It was nonsense, you know? And my point of view on the topic is it's not a matter of defunding the police, but it's a matter of getting rid of the corrupt police officers, just like it's a matter of getting rid of the corrupt government officials that have plagued this nation, as opposed to defunding anything. I'm not one for defunding government. I'm not anti-government. I'm not one for defunding the police, but I am definitely one for introducing a much better quality of officials and police officers than currently exist. And this, what happened on October 12th, is a prime example of that. And probably the reason that God put me in that situation, in order to be able to expose really what's going on. And so every time I've gone to a Nevada rally and notified the police, it's been a non-issue. They've thanked me for the courtesy of notifying them. They've said, obviously, you can't take your firearms. I wouldn't even think of doing such a stupid thing. And they've been fine. They've been fine. And the critical mistake I made is, I guess, forgetting the location that I was in California. So I drive up with my special entry pass. And by the way, they're saying I had a counterfeit pass. That's a bunch of nonsense. I could prove that I had a special entry pass directed to me, sent directly to me by officials within the Republican Party of Nevada. I was an actual invitee to that event. So as I'm driving, there's an area where you enter the parking lot after you pass a sheriff. I pull up to the sheriff. I say, I should take that back. I'm not 100% sure he was a sheriff. He was wearing a sheriff vest, but a lot of those individuals were. And my assumption is that not everybody there was a sheriff. They were just trying to indicate that they worked with the sheriff's department. And so I drive up to this sheriff and I tell him that, in full transparency, I just want to let you know, in the back of my truck, I got, 2 lawful firearms, purchased lawfully, registered lawfully, and I'm just letting you know that that's back there as a courtesy, which is a courtesy that I always do. That police officer asks me to pull over, so I pull over, and just so everybody's clear out there, it's not like they found that I had firearms or did an investigation, blah, blah, blah. No, the body cams and the evidence will expose and reveal that I myself drove up to the sheriff and gave him the common courtesy and respect of letting him know about the firearms I had in the back of my truck. At this point, they make me pull over. A police officer comes to my window. And what I have to say about this particular moment is that knowing how some police officers behave, and I'm indicating that they behave in a fashion where they seem to not understand the laws and the Constitution, I'm usually more armed and alert. But when I was arriving there, I wasn't feeling well. I have certain health demands, I guess you could say, that require me to regulate my blood sugar level and also require me to have basically my water bottle, which I'll put a couple of different supplements in there that whenever I'm having issues and I feel like my blood sugar is all over the place, I drink some of that stuff and it helps me to regulate it, right? At this moment, I certainly wasn't feeling great. I wasn't at my sharpest. And when this police officer came to my window, I rolled the window down and he asked me to get out of my car. I got out of my car. He asked me to turn around, put my hands behind my back, which is what I did. He handcuffed me at that juncture. I said, "Why are you handcuffing me?" He said he's doing it for his own protection, which, we could talk about that topic as well, because I don't know ever in the history of humankind where there's been an individual like me that's rolled up and said, "I have 2 firearms in my trunk clearly indicating that I'm not there to cause any problems. I'm not there for anything nefarious. But nonetheless, this police officer felt threatened when he's the one with the firearm right then and there. But I complied with him. I complied with him because my impression of most Trump rallies was that the police officers there were respectful of the Constitution and appreciated that I was upfront about the lawful firearms within my car. At this point, they put me in the back of a police car, which is scorching hot. And frankly, I'm feeling faint at this point, and I'm having difficulty speaking. I've been driving for hours, and frankly, I had to go to the bathroom very badly, to a point where it was giving me a headache, and my blood sugar being off, me being in the back of that truck or police car in the scorching heat, which was akin to a sauna, was really causing me health problems, causing me heart palpitations, causing me breathing issues. And they just stuck me back there, closed the door in this sauna-like police car. And it came to a point where I had to start like knocking on, well, I should say knocking. I was hitting the door with my feet because my hands were handcuffed behind my back. And I'm just like trying to make noise so that I could get their attention, because I've been inside there for an hour. And if you could imagine, with your blood sugar all over the place, heart palpitating, being in a sauna-like environment is not the healthiest situation to be in. I actually felt like I might faint and be hospitalized. And finally, the police officers come there. I pretty much begged them to get my water, which has 2 supplements in there that could have helped my health. They refused to, because they're like, what if there's something in there? And I know what they're trying to indicate is that like there's cyanide or something in there, and I'm gonna drink some of it and off myself, because they were onto this insane theory that I was there to cause harm. And so they refused me what I needed, which was my medication. They kept me in the car. They did turn on the AC after what was hour, I don't even know. And it's hard for me to know the exact time. It could have been an hour, it could have been an hour and a half of this torturous experience. I don't know, because frankly, I was too lightheaded and I was almost fainting. When I explained to them what was going on, they said, we could take you to the hospital. I'm like, rather than take me to the hospital, what if you just get me my water? And they refused to do so. And they gave me, one of the police officers put water in front of my mouth and poured it in there and stuff. Eventually, they did give me my water bottle, but that was hours later. So, at this juncture, I'm in the back of the truck, and I'm demanding from this arresting police officer that I get my one phone call, which he refuses. He also refuses to tell me what's going on. He does ask me, well, he does come up to me and say that, and this is again reflected by the body cameras, which we're going to be doing a FOIA request on, or I should say a FOIA demand. There was another avenue to this, which is internal affairs report, that I was told it was a way to go and attain those body cam recordings. So what this body cam will expose is that this police officer came up to me and he basically said that, look, we just want to make sure your law firms are properly registered, that they're lawfully purchased. I say, sure. I tell them the exact locations of the firearms. I tell them they're welcome to grab the firearms, and I have nothing to hide. And this was done under the guise of they just need to run serials to make sure that this is part of the National Registry and that it is indeed my firearms. Well, next thing these guys do is that they completely ransack everything in my car. And when I say ransack, I had 3 suitcases in there, including clothes, including crucial medication and supplements, including my laptop computer and iPad, camera equipment, tripods, recording equipment, basically all the equipment I would need in order to produce content. And to be very clear, I wasn't there under media. I was there as a special guest, and I wasn't taking any of that equipment in there because I was not there as media. But I had been in Los Angeles prior, and that evidence will show that I had gone from Nevada to Los Angeles for the purpose of attaining content. And then I went to Coachella. So I just happened to have this stuff in my car, which is all my equipment, hard drives, and all the things that I've stated. And so at this juncture, they go into such forensic detail with tearing my car apart. There's bomb sniffing dogs there. They're looking at the serial numbers. They're opening up everything in my car. I mean, they're checking the mufflers. They're checking underneath it, because obviously they were on this, frankly, idiotic notion that I was there to cause harm. And mind you, the right thing I believe to have been done is when I asked the police officer, hey, I have firearms. And I actually said, like, when I first drove up there, I said, look, if it's an issue, I could do a U-turn and go away, because, you know, I understand, you know, because I could tell from his reaction that he wasn't reacting the way our Nevada police would have reacted to that sort of comment. And I said, look, man, I could just turn around and go, man, I don't even need to go to this rally, you know, but they chose to have me apprehended and arrested, right? So they ransacked the crap out of my car, and lo and behold, they find absolutely nothing. I think it was clear that this was an attempt to find incriminating information or evidence upon myself, because carrying a firearm is protected by our Constitution. And say they found other, you know, something nefarious in there, that would clearly be a way to justify what they were doing. But there was no justification. During this time, I hear this arresting officer call me a maggot and one of those dumb Trump people to a female officer. And he didn't know that I had overheard what he said. And at this point, it becomes very clear that this arresting officer's goal was to make an example of a Trump supporter, was to persecute a Trump supporter having nothing to do with the law. That was very clear by his behavior, by how he spoke with me. And so they tear my car apart, and clearly they find nothing. Then this arresting police officer comes back and says that they're going to throw me in jail and that they're going to impound my car. Tow truck comes eventually, takes my car with all my equipment, my clothes, my medication. And this clothes that you're seeing me wear, the jeans that I'm wearing, I've been wearing for now, it's the third day. After spending 4 hours in a car, at least 1 to 1.5 hours of which was a sauna. So you can imagine Coachella, I'm standing outside sweating, I'm inside a car, I'm sweating. So right now I feel gross, to be very clear. And so they take everything, they impound it, okay? Now, this arresting officer comes up to me and says, the Secret Service and the FBI want to speak with you, okay? And this is when his narrative started, I guess, falling apart, because he told me that, you know, there's a serious situation, there's been assassination attempts on Trump, blah, 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 and they're going to investigate this, they're going to interrogate you, blah, 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 right? And so now we're about 3.5 hours into this ordeal, I would approximate. And this arresting officer drives me to an RV where the feds and the Secret Service are stationed. Now, what occurs to me is that the fulcrum in all this event is this one arresting officer. He's the one passing information to the feds, to the Secret Service, and he's the one coming back to me and relaying this information, although it was very clear that he was skewing this information. So, and I will explain why. So we go to this RV, he steps out of the car, and at this point, as hot as it was before, now it's freezing inside the car. Just a little detail, I'm talking like, and by the way, I'm in sandals and a shirt because I showed up for desert weather, and I'm in this freezing cold car. I would approximate now it's 6:30-ish or so p.m. He walks out of the car, he has a conversation with individuals that are Secret Service and feds. And he in this conversation, which I'm watching through this kind of grid that they have in the back of the trucks, you know, that kind of prison grid looking thing, I could tell from the reaction of the Secret Service and feds that they're just not kind of buying his story. They seem very disinterested. And what I would also assume, and you know, all of our research, the FOIAs, the body cams, all that stuff's going to reveal this, because this is going to turn into a major lawsuit. And I'll tell you how major this lawsuit is in a moment. So in this interaction, they seem very disinterested, right? And I could tell that they're not buying his bullshit. I could tell that, you know, these are, you know, you have smart officers, you have smart authorities, and then you have not very smart ones. And I could tell that these guys were a lot sharper than this arresting, you know, fool, I would say. And then he comes in the car and he says, well, they're going to come to the police station and interview you. Okay. By the way, at this point, we're, you know, now 4 hours into it, and I've been asking to speak with a lawyer, get my one phone call, and he's refused to do so. He's refused to do so, which, by the way, I never got my one phone call. They did not allow it, okay? So I then am taken to the police station, and I'm taken into a room where essentially it's a 6-foot glass barrier between this holding area and where all the police are seated in front of their computers, right? And I'm reading the penal code over there. There's a penal code on the wall that says that immediately upon request by the person that's being detained, they're supposed to give my one phone call. But again, over and over again, this officer refuses. And at this point, since I've, you know, I told you they let me have my water with my supplements in there, now I'm feeling a little bit better, okay? Now I'm feeling the savage come out, because I know what this guy's doing, okay? And so I stand up, and by the way, I'm chained to a bench. So when I say I stand up, I mean, I pretty much stand up in place, and I say, listen, man, this penal code right here, and I read him the penal code, how immediately upon request, I'm supposed to get to speak to get my one phone call, which I was going to call my lawyer, right? And I say it over and over again. And the FOIA requests and the body cameras will reflect that while I was in that holding cell, I'd approximate an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I was repeatedly asking for my one phone call, and this so-called officer was refusing to give it to me, making every single excuse. And so then I turned to the other police officers and I said, listen, guys, because now my brain's coming back, okay? And I understand law much better than most documentary makers and content creators, because I've actually studied law. And in fact, that morning I was listening to law classes, which are available on my computer and verifiable, before I even drove out, which is like what I do on my spare time. And the reason why I do this stuff is because through doing a lot of content, I've realized that, you know, this officer who I believe is a corrupt and criminal individual who's operating under the color of law, a lot of them exist out there. And after having seen multiple aspects of corruption, some that affected my life deeply, and there's a story to that too, because one of the reasons I even got into this is because of immense court corruption by a woke Canadian judge. I won't get into the details of what happened there, but at this point, I'm going to be sharing all these stories because I want you to know where I'm coming from and why I chose a certain direction in my life and gave up a very healthy and rising 6-figure salary in Hollywood to do this stuff where it's very difficult to make anywhere close to the funds that I'd be making if I just.
So I'm going to end it there. That was way longer than I intended. I was trying to find this video, this post I saw on X earlier, and I can't find it. Maybe it was fake news. And I can't pull it up. I can't find it. But they apparently, at this same rally, they found Israeli or Iranian people there with boom boom. I think it was on the quarterings video. But they had boom boom devices, if you get my drift, in their vehicle, and I don't hear anything about that. It's all about this guy. If you Google that event, this guy pulls up. I'm not saying he's innocent, but what I have seen, I think it's very suspicious. It's very curious. It's very interesting that they're trying to go after this guy. I feel like he's being set up in some sort of way. I don't know who by, if it was Diddy, if it was the government, I don't know. But this guy is a documentary guy. He was in LA to, it sounds like he was shooting a documentary, and then he happened to go to Coachella, and he happened to have that stuff in the back. And I would have taken it out. I would have taken the gun out. I don't think that, look, I mean, maybe, he said something about his blood sugar was low. Maybe he's diabetic or something. I don't know. But maybe he didn't even think about it being an issue. But I feel like that was a mistake on his part. That was kind of a no-no, kind of a mess up on his part for not thinking about that. How do you not think about that? I understand. He said something. I don't know if it was in the clip I played, but he said something about he was receiving death threats a couple of years ago, so he went and bought a couple of firearms, and he keeps on him. But he's not a gun expert. He never even shot the gun, and he is not like this big Second Amendment guy. But he wants to, have protection because that's his right. If you live in America, and apparently not in California, but some guns that are illegal in Nevada are not in California. So unfortunately, and that's the law, and that's what he's getting slapped on. So, but I think that this story is being misrepresented in the media, and I think that this is just a smear on Trump supporters, because I'm not hearing a single thing about. Let me see if I can find that video or that story right quick from the. Let me see if he posted about it on X, because I cannot find it anywhere. I can't find it anywhere at all. Let's see here. And then there was some speculation that the sheriff said that this guy said that he wanted to unalive the president. All of this stuff about the fake tag was kind of weird, I thought. I don't know what that means, really. But he let them know. He let them know ahead of time that he had a firearm, even though I think he should have left at home. But like you said, he didn't. He just happened to be in the area, I guess it sounded like, and he wasn't there as press. He was just there as a visitor. So, damn it, I can't find this story about the. I don't know, but it was like an Israeli guy or Iranian guy that was there that got arrested, apparently. Damn it. I don't know, but this guy, this guy was also on Alex Jones. He was on his show today. I haven't checked it out, but he's probably saying the same information. But I think that I think this is a nothing burger. This is a story that is only, like, I see a lot of people on Twitter. They're like, it's really a shame that Trump supporters are trying to kill him. I'm like, this guy wasn't trying to kill him. He just happened to have. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff with the sheriff. A lot of stuff with, like, the sheriff is like a Trump MAGA dude, and he backtracked on a statement about. I don't know. They're obviously trying to lie about this guy. They're trying to cover up something. I don't know. But my only question is, why, if you know you're going to go to this event, or if you're heading to this event, and you have two attempts on Trump's life, probably not a good idea to take a weapon. And I understand that, like, he's a documentary maker. He makes these films. And, he said that he got scared for his life. He had death threats based off of the content he was making. I may just have to go to the video itself and find where he pulled that up, because I can't, and I apologize for, I hate dead air on a podcast. Okay, it was the post millennial that posted. I should have pulled that up earlier. My apologies. Let's put this up right quick. Millennial, and I don't know if this is. They don't. Okay, here it is. I knew it was somewhere. Damn it! These stupid ads on these sites are. Let's see what it says at the bottom here. It says something about. I should have had this pulled up. My apologies here. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it says something about there were like Iranian people there. This is starting to piss me off, dude. But anyway, you can go look into that. I'm gonna try to find that story. I don't want to hold this podcast up for that topic, but I think it's true that they're not telling you the truth on that. And I wanted to let him tell the story and not let me regurgitate what he said, because I think it's important to hear from the guy himself. I don't think he's a bad dude, but I don't know anything about him. But he was just there. He's a Trump supporter, and there's been several people online that said, "Hey, dude, this guy is not a bad dude at all." They're lying about it. I hope that there are lawsuits involved. I hope that he sues these people into oblivion. And I really mean that, because I think that this is horrible to be accused of something like this is just ridiculous. It's just insane. Now, you can say that, like, he probably should have did this, he probably should have did that, he probably shouldn't have done that. Taking a gun in that, but it's one of the things you don't really think about. And like, it's just like, yeah, you can't have a weapon in certain areas. You can't go on certain areas, like you can't go into a bank and all that kind of stuff. You can't do certain things with guns. And do I agree with that? No, but I think that a Trump rally, and I with the information that they had, I think that the cops did their jobs. But I think that they treated this guy very unfairly, not giving him water and shit like that. Like, that's just insane. That's just insane, dude. Not giving him water and like it being hot and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I will try to find that. It's on the New York Post. Let me see if I can find that story. I still want to find that story of. Let's do Vin Miller. I am dedicated to finding this story because I want to verify if this is actually real. New York Post. And apparently he said that it's been going around that he was bailed out on $5,000 bond. According to his buddy, he walked out of there without paying anything. I thought that was kind of I don't know if that's right or not, but I am not familiar with man, this is really pissing me off, man. is really pissing me off that I can't find this thing, and it's anyway. Oh, okay. Here it is. No, okay. Anyway, really, really embarrassing. I can't find that. I'm able to find like all kinds of stuff without like with a snap of a finger. I'm able to pull up stuff, and I can't find that story that I wanted to find of like the Iranian people. Let me find this. Man, I really hate technology sometimes. I really hate social media, how they bury shit. It's oh man. I don't know. Anyway, I hate to take up any more dead air here, but I just wanted to get on here and do another show. And I know the production is probably not the best, but I'm really trying my best, and I'm really trying my hardest. And it's really discouraging to me to have my voice ripped out from under me this last week, and I just have really. I was such on a roll with the page, and man, it was I was able to reach so many people, and people were able to like there were so many people from Oklahoma, people from all over the country reaching out to me. I've never have gotten so many DMs in the past 2 weeks. And I apologize for not responding to everybody, but I just want to say I appreciate everybody's time out there and everybody's support. And I'm just a one-man band, like a one-man guy doing all the channels, all the pages and the accounts and all that kind of stuff. And so I really want to get back, like I really want to get the website back again and start doing maybe blogs or articles, or maybe doing a store again, even though I really don't want to do that. But that's like by the end of the year, by the first of next year, I want to open that back up. And I really am pissed. Like a few months ago, I lost a bunch of those domains because it was going to be like $500 or $600 to renew, and I was like, I don't really want to pay that for something that's not making any money. So, because I went in a couple years ago and I bought all the domains for Okie Patriot, and I lost a bunch of them, including Okie Patriot 76 Radio. Which, by the way, I want to address that too. So I have this channel, Okie Patriot 76 Radio, and I post independent artists and conservative artists and just any artist out there that I find to be worth a damn, right? And I just give them spotlight, and I basically just promote them, and I do it for free, and I never charge these people a dime. Actually, one of the artists, their team was wanting to send me money to promote them. I was like, nah, I'm good. I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool, but I'll do it for free because I love your stuff. But I've been hit with several like copyright strikes over there, and the channel is just like really dying, unfortunately. And I don't really know what to do other than just ride the wave and just wait it out, because 90 days, I think it's maybe 60 days now, the copyright claim will go off because it's my first one. Or not my first one, but I've had so many. I had 2 at one time, and then it went away. And I think I have a warning and then also a strike. So I've the warning was a long time ago, like maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and then I had another artist. They were independent artists, and then they signed to a label, and then the label went in and took down all the videos with their stuff. They did kind of a purge, and their music is good. Their album is good. I love their stuff, and it's so hard because there's so many there's a handful of artists out there. I don't want to name them, but I can't post their stuff. Some of it's like conservative. Some of these are conservative artists, and their label doesn't want me posting their stuff, which it is what it is. I'm not going to talk anymore about that, but I'll do my best to put people out there that I think need promoting. I'm not going to change my system. My system is basically I find people that I like and I post them. And if they have a problem with me promoting their stuff for free, then they can just reach out to me, or they can take down the video, because I'm done fucking with it. And I've had so many like positive things come out of that channel, and we've had like so many people find so many artists on that channel. It's so unreal. And like in the beginning, it was so hard because people were pissed that I was posting their stuff, but you reach a lot of different people over there, and it's not my intention it being like a MAGA channel, but I go out of my way to post people that are killing it in the MAGA space. Like they're really like his name is Kyle Cooligan. He was on Fox News several weeks ago, and I posted one of his songs, and somebody was like, "Do you honestly support Trump, or are you just posting this?" I was like, "Yeah." And you can go read the response on that song. I was just like, "Yeah, like I support Trump," and it was the first time I was like, "Oh, this is a music channel." Like I try not to get in politics over that. I don't talk much about politics over there, but I have posted like political songs over there. Like I post Adam Calhoun. I try not to post a lot of people, but a lot of big people. I try to post people that need promotion, like people with like 200 listeners or like 50 listeners, or somebody with like it's just not starting out. I post them, and I do my best to do that. But if you follow me on TikTok, I repost a lot of other people's videos from over there. A lot of people on TikTok. But yeah, it's a wild ride, and I appreciate everybody out there, man, just like supporting it, and it really has been positive coming back. I came back and started posting again on social media, and I've been doing like the original content where I do like my tweet over the video, and that's been helping a lot. And there's been several viral moments, and it's, as far as engagement goes, that's the way to go right there, because it's a lot better branding wise, and people know where to follow you. So I guess we can get into this last story. We're running up on 2 hours here, but I just, there's so much stuff. I want to touch on this Bible thing. So I don't have all the details in front of me, and I'm going to probably piss a lot of people off, but I want to touch on this Trump Bible thing. So Ryan Walters is in hot water recently. He's the state superintendent here in Oklahoma. And recently there was a conversation around handing out Bibles, mandating Bibles for Oklahoma classrooms. And so I think it's already mandated, but he was wanting to put a Bible in every classroom in Oklahoma. Now, here's the issue. I don't really have a problem with that. I think that's I think that's good. I think we need, his intentions are good. I think that what he's doing basically is fighting the woke mob, and I hate using that word, but he's fighting fire with fire, that kind of thing. And instead of like, typically Republicans just bow down and take it, or they don't fight back at all, but he's fighting back, against some of these things that are happening in Oklahoma schools. And I don't agree with the guy on everything. I think he's kind of cringe, and I think he lost a lot of people with this, including Republicans. I don't agree. So basically, what he's wanted to do, he's wanted to spend like an ungodly amount of money on Bibles, which is like $6 million. So $3 million from last year. So the budget is like $42 billion. And in that, he wants to have $3 million allocated towards Bibles. And he wants to use another $3 million from last year. So like a total of $6 million to buy Bibles. And there was also some conversation that he was wanting to do it very quickly, and they backtracked on that. But they was wanting to do it very quickly, and they were wanting to take funds from payroll to do that, which I thought was just the wrong move. And there were some guidelines with this book, or with the Bible. They were wanting to put a Bible in every classroom. The Bible had to be New King James, or King James. It had to be leather, and it had to have the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And you had this liberal group here in Oklahoma, Oklahoma Watch. I don't know if they're liberal, but they're not conservative. But Oklahoma Watch, they're kind of like I don't know how to describe it. I don't really know a lot about them, but they're the ones that broke this story that ended up being inaccurate. And I will give Ryan Walters credit. Like, Ryan Walters didn't come out and say that they were going to put the Trump Bible, but the media here in Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Watch, they took this story and ran with it, and they're like, "Oh, he wants to put a Trump Bible in every classroom." Like, that's not what he said, but it's still, if you look at it for what it is, it's still a bad use of taxpayer money. All right, it's still like, whenever you have kids who go to school hungry and they leave hungry, or whenever you have teachers that can't even afford school supplies, right? Spending $6 million on Bibles is kind of outrageous. But they took this story, and the mainstream media picked up on it, CNN and MSNBC, like, "Oh, look at this, right-wing extreme MAGA, Ryan Walters wants to put a Trump Bible." And like, that's not what he said. But basically what the guidelines is it has to be bound in leather, and it has to be King James, and it has to have basically historical documents in there as well. Now, I don't like the Trump Bible for that reason, because, well, I mean, like, as a Christian, like, you are not supposed to add things or remove things from the Bible. That's like the ultimate sin, right? So, and that's kind of what rubs me the wrong way about the Trump Bible, is like, it has, from my understanding, it has like Lee Greenwood's song. So it's technically Lee Greenwood's Bible, and Trump is like license his name to him. And that was another thing. Like, if the state of Oklahoma would have bought those Bibles, Trump would have got a royalty off of that. And a lot of people, including me, that was not sitting well with me. And a lot of other people, that's not the way to go. Like, it's just, it's something that just, shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be that controversial, like, for people to disagree with that. If it would have been the other way around, you would have conservatives everywhere bitching and moaning about that. Like, let's say, the superintendent was like a leftist, and here in Oklahoma, let's say they mandated Michelle Obama's book to be in every classroom, and then Michelle Obama would, or Kamala Harris's, but like one of her books or whatever, mandated. and then Kamala Harris would get like a royalty off of that, then you would have conservatives bitching and moaning about all that kind of stuff. Yeah, people don't like it when it's the other way, but they like it when it's something they support. Now, the Trump Bible was going to be like, I think it's like $60 or $90 or something like that. It's really expensive. And from what I understand, it's really poor quality. It's made in China, and it's not durable. Like, and I don't really understand what has to be leather. Like, it says leather in the guidelines. If you look at the guidelines, it says leather or durable quality. Now, I don't think people realize this or not, but you can get Bibles that are King James, and you can buy the actual guidelines that, like, I think they updated the guidelines. Maybe there was the same, and maybe Oklahoma Watch took them out of context. But from what I could find was the guidelines was they wanted the Bible with those historical documents, and then they came out and said no, it's like that's not true. Maybe I'll be honest, maybe they lied. I mean, maybe they wanted the Trump Bible. I don't know. I mean, Ryan Walters, I'm not really the biggest fan of, to be honest. I mean, he seems like a good guy. I mean, I like a lot of stuff he's done. But this right here, he just makes, from what I've seen, like, a lot of people on TikTok are pissed. A lot of people, like, here in Oklahoma, don't like him. A lot of the teachers don't like him. But there is a way to get the job done. There is a way to do it where everybody is happy, right? And mandating Bibles in classrooms, not the way to go. Okay. For one thing, like, most people here in Oklahoma are very religious, right? And I think that people here in Oklahoma, they go to church anyway, or they know they were raised a certain way, right? If they don't go to church, they were raised a certain way. Either way, but I don't like things being mandated on people. I think that kids should have access to the Bible, but I think that instead of having those things in there, regardless of the guidelines change or not, those things in there, I think, rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because it's, like I said, as a Christian, you shouldn't add things or take things away from the Bible. And you can have a Bible and you can have those documents outside of the Bible, and it still be okay. I think people would be okay with it. But I think throwing Trump in there really ruffled some feathers, and maybe, like, I don't really agree with this whole thing at all. I don't know if you can tell. I don't really like it. I don't really like the way Ryan Walters has handled this situation and other things. And come to find out, I saw that the state of Oklahoma is having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for Ryan Walters for his legal fees. I just don't think that's. I mean, he's involved with all these lawsuits. If you don't live in Oklahoma, K4 is suing him and all this stuff. That shouldn't be the burden of the taxpayer, right? I mean that's just BS. That is just absolute BS right there. But if you want to put a Bible in schools, that's fine. But putting a very expensive Bible into school that is not really, let's be honest, the whole Bible Trump, like the whole Trump Bible thing was a grift, okay? It was a grift, okay? Trump knows that his core audience is Christian, and he made a lot of money with that, okay? He's a smart businessman. I'll give him that. He knows what he's doing. And if you bought the Trump Bible, you're not a horrible person. I'm just saying, I didn't buy it. I didn't support it. I thought it was cringe. I thought it was wrong, just for the reasons I said. But you can put a Bible in every school. I think that's cool, but don't mandate it and leave politics out of it. And don't spend $3 million or $6 million doing so. So I think that's where you lose people. And by the way, there's a Bible app here that the Life Church, Craig Groeschel, developed. They're based in Oklahoma. They're one of the largest churches in the world. Like 100,000 people attend these satellite churches all across the world and the country. Or not the world, but the country. I think in the U.S. it's like close to 100, maybe 90,000 people who attend like all across the country. Basically, I've been to a couple of these churches. It's basically like these satellite churches. They have pastors there on location, but basically, the pastor Craig, you get to see like a video. It's like a live stream video of him preaching in Oklahoma City, and then it's beamed out to all these locations. It's very interesting. I think he's like, I mean, like I said, it's one of the largest churches in the country. I mean, but they made the Bible app like 15 years ago, whenever it was, and it has hundreds of millions of downloads. It's been translated into all these languages, and one of the principals chimed in. This was like a couple weeks ago. I know this is old news, but he chimed in. I think it was like Bixby, the Bixby principal or whatever it was. I think it was a superintendent, because the principal got arrested. Did you guys see that? But anyway, the superintendent. I think it was a superintendent, like the older guy. I think. I may be getting that wrong, but he chimed in and said that students have access to the Bible in their district. They have iPads with the Bible app downloaded, and they can access it. And I think as far as the other documents go, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, I think that those are important documents that kids need to learn. I think that I'm not arguing that, but those are things that you can get for free. Those are things that schools should already have, right? And so there's other ways to skin a cat, and using those funds for other purposes should be the idea. But I will say that the media did a great job at covering up the fact that a couple of details in this story didn't make the headlines. So did you guys see what else they're spending money on? Well, $1 million is going to train veterans and police officers. I think this is great to put in schools. Now, I've talked to a couple of people, and so I think a couple of years ago after Uvalde, they passed it was like a $50 million thing to put resource officers in these schools. But these rural schools, especially with a lot of these police departments, like my police department's always hiring. Like, it's a high turnover. Nobody wants to work. I totally understand. Like, nobody wants to do that job. Nobody. Like, for $30,000-$40,000 a year, absolutely not. You can make more than that, like, doing DoorDash, right? So, it's just absolutely insane. But I totally understand why people wouldn't do that job. But in these rural districts, in these rural areas, I think that's a cool thing. So he wants to spend $1 million to give these people bonuses, veterans bonuses, and give them the ability to protect schools. He's also allocating, I think, $500,000 to train teachers and get help them get permits, get them concealed carry, and allow them to carry in the classroom. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. That's awesome. Give them safety courses, and that's awesome. Now, some teachers don't want to do that. They'll never do that. There's a lot of teachers on TikTok here in Oklahoma. Looking into this story over the past couple weeks, I haven't really heard anything about it because I've been so focused on the hurricane. But about 3 weeks ago, I was really hardcore into it, and there was so many teachers. I saw this one teacher. She moved here from some other state, and she was so pissed at Ryan Walters and this Bible thing. It was just like, she was pissed about the voters. Like, did you guys see like the voters being removed? Like it was like 500,000 voters removed. And they did the same thing in Virginia recently, and the Biden administration is suing them now. I think is interesting. I think there's a rule. I think there's a rule that you can't do it within 90 days of a election. I think that's why they're being sued. I may be wrong on that, but since the one here in Oklahoma, they did it over the course of 3 years or 4 years. I think that there's not going to be a lawsuit. There's probably lawsuits anyway, but it's not as big of a deal as the one in Virginia. I don't know a lot about the one in Virginia, but I just kind of heard about that just very vaguely. But yeah, this teacher was bitching about she was bitching about how Oklahoma is like suppressing votes and all this shit. It was just like, give me a break, lady. They were removing. Now I did see there was this I was gonna post it, but there was on Fox23.com, which is out of Tulsa. They did a story on this guy who was a felon, and he served his time, and he got his rights back and all that kind of stuff. I think he voted in the last election. I think he voted in 2020, and they basically, I think he was one of the ones that they removed. So there were some voters, like a lot of them were dead voters. A lot of them were voters like that moved from a different county to another. So if you move from one county to another, they basically take your registration from that old county and delete that, and then you're still active in that other county to vote. And so basically a lot of those voters that they removed were that type of situation. But then a lot of them were moved out of state, but some of them were still like they were removed. And I think that, yeah, you like at that time, this was like 3 weeks ago, you could still register to vote. You can just re-register to vote. Like it's not a big deal. Like, and it's called cleaning house. It's cleaning house. But this guy was a felon, and he was basically told that if he votes, it's not going to count because of his past. I think that that's bullshit. You served your time. I mean, you served your time. You did your time and all that kind of stuff. And I think that, just look at like somebody like Jelly Roll. I fucking hate his music, but just like it's such a crime that he can't go out of the country and do business. Right? It's just, the government just fucks people over left and right. It's so insane. Right? It's so insane. But no, that was a post that went viral on my page, and people were just so excited to see that. And he got a lot of backlash on that. There's also some talk. I think I pretty much covered the Bible thing. Like the Bible thing, I don't really agree with, but there's other ways around it. There's free apps. There's 99-cent or there's like $10 Bibles you can buy on Amazon, and like the church Bibles. I don't really understand why it has to be leather. Hardcover is what I would pick if I was doing that, but I that's one of the things that is different about me is I will push back on my own side, including when it costs me followers and costs me listeners. I will not hesitate to call somebody on my own side a moron. I think Ryan Walters is. So, but not. I mean, I love what he does. I think that he's great on some things, but I also don't understand why he's like buddies with like the libs of TikTok lady. I've talked about this before, but I don't really understand why she's like on the board here in Oklahoma. I just think it's unnecessary. But anyway, she lives in New York or somewhere. But anyway, I want to close this with this. There was a poll, or there was a recent poll that happened like a month ago, and I want to talk about it because I think it happened in between the last episode. But Pat McFerrin, he's like a pollster guy. He did a poll, and he said that. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Pull this up. Poll. basically said that Kamala Harris is going to win in let's see here. Basically said that Kamala Harris is going to win in Oklahoma County, which I just don't think that's going to happen. Now, there's been a lot of people moving here from other states, right? I work with a guy from Seattle, and he is very culturally different than I am. He was raised different, obviously, but the reason why he moved here was to get the hell out of Seattle, right? He was wanting to move to either Wyoming or Montana or Colorado, but they somehow settled on Oklahoma, and I don't really understand why he moved here to where I am, like where the town I am, because it's not on any of the lists. It's not. Like, if you look up best place to live in Oklahoma, like, this is not, like, this town is nowhere, but it's a great place. It is a fantastic, I fucking love this town. It's a great place. But it's so quiet, it's clean, it's like no bullshit. Like, everybody's great. It's just fantastic. But anyway, it's just a typical Oklahoma town, but there's been a lot of people moving here from other places, but everyone I have met is from like they're from red parts of blue states, and they're very red, and they're very Republican, they're very pissed, and they're very like hardcore MAGA people. And you know, this guy that I work with, he's not like into the news that much. He doesn't really know. He's not really plugged into what's really happening. Because I've had conversation with him before, and he's just like, I'm like, have you heard about this thing that happened? He's like, no, I have no idea. Like, I was talking to him the other day, and I was like, have you heard about the whole hurricane stuff? And he's like, what? I'm like, there was a hurricane in North Carolina. I was like, I don't know. Like, there's some things that he knows what's going on, and some doesn't. But he's gonna vote with Trump in November, and I guess that's the most important thing. That but anyway, all of his family is like Trump people, and they watch Newsmax and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's great. But there's also some people that moved here from other places, other states that are not that way, and they bring their politics with them. And you know, up by Oklahoma City, you know, Tulsa, very very blue. And so, you know, his argument was like what he claimed, what like the survey said was Kamala Harris is going to tie with Trump, and and that was based off of a poll of 400 people. And we're talking about like 400 and like, you know, 500,000 people in Oklahoma County. And if you don't know, Oklahoma is completely red. It's like the only state in the country completely red. All 77 counties red, right? And I think that if that is going to happen, it would be historic, because we're talking about a completely red state. One of the counties blue. That hasn't happened since, I think, Gore. I think 9 counties voted for Gore, I believe. That's what I came up with whenever I looked into it. I'm trying to pull all this information that from a month ago, and I really should have done a podcast on it at the time. I apologize, but no, I don't think. I think Trump is going to win Oklahoma, like 1,000%. Like, there's obviously some blue areas of Oklahoma, and I can't help that. I mean, that means it's growing, but I don't want Oklahoma to turn into a different state. And there are some very concerning parts. Like, did you guys see the whole David Holt thing that he spoke at a Clinton event like not too long ago? And people were so shocked. I'm like, why are you shocked? This guy's not a Republican. He's a rhino. And He's a very weird dude. He's a very strange dude. I mean, I was watching some of the stuff during COVID, some of these press conference or like some of these board meeting or these meetings or these city meetings from during COVID, and he was like all mask wear, like he was all for the mask. Like there's videos of him wearing mask outside and all that stuff. He's all masked up, right? But he is not a he's very strange. Very strange individual. Very weird. But I just thought I would talk about that because I think it's, I love talking about Oklahoma stories because a lot of people don't talk about it unless it, like the voting thing, the people, like the 500,000 people got removed, that story, that was viral. A lot of people saw that, but there's so many stories out there that don't get talked about a lot. And so my goal with my platform is, in my Twitter is to, and my social media, is to put stuff out there that don't get, that doesn't get a lot of recognition. And so that's kind of my goal. But do I think Kamala Harris is going to win Oklahoma County? I don't know, man. Like, I can't predict the future. I mean, I think it's certainly possible. Joe Biden, he barely, if the numbers are correct, I mean, this is from 2020, but he barely won, or he barely lost. I think it was like by 1 point or like half a point or something like that. It was just wild. But yeah, Joe Biden almost won Oklahoma County. And yeah, there are some red areas. There's some people here that fucking hate Trump. And it is what it is, right? So, but I don't count, just like any other town, like any other state, I don't count like the authentic, like if you travel to California, yeah, like Los Angeles is technically in California, but if you want like authentic California, you have to go outside of LA and into like the rural parts of the state. That's where you're going to see like the real deal state. And so, yeah, Tulsa is great, Oklahoma City is great, but if you want to experience real Oklahoma, and this is why like this dude I work with, he moved the fuck out of Seattle and into this small town because he wants nothing to do with ever again blue policies, and he wants to be surrounded by people who are armed, people who support the police, people who he wants to be able to walk down the sidewalk without homeless people and drugs everywhere and shit on the street. And that's real. This is real Oklahoma. And Oklahoma City is kind of a mashup of like, very rural conservative living mixed with like metropolitan life. And it's a great city if you like city life. I mean, Tulsa and Oklahoma City is a lot of people move there, start their career, and then they move back because it's just it's not the best. It's not Oklahoma. Like it's not, in my opinion, what Oklahoma is. But yeah, man, there's so much to get into, and there's so much stuff happening out there. And I hope that if you made it this far, you are a real hero. Because I don't normally do podcasts this long, but I was feeling extra passionate today, and I wanted to get on here and talk on things. So it's been over 2 hours, guys. I really do appreciate your time, and thank you so much. Follow me on X. Follow me on Instagram. I got a new album coming out. I am still releasing music under Bill Steele and the Red Dot Wranglers, so you can go check that out. I put up a song about the hurricane victims called They Don't Care. It's on YouTube. But I also I have a bunch of songs that I'm releasing, and an album is going to come out in about a month on November the 16th. On November the 1st, there's a couple songs that's going to drop that's kind of election related, so look out for that. So just type in Bill Steele and the Red Dot Wranglers. I also have that album, Rock and Roll Cowboy, that I put out, if you haven't checked that out. If you don't know, it's all AI generated. and so it's not real music, but it's what AI can do, and it's more of an educational thing that I'm doing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have not produced without, with the exception of the song about the hurricane, I have not touched any kind of AI stuff in like a month. So I'm kind of like burnt out on that, and I kind of just realized that it's probably a waste of my time, and it's not really. There is some weird stuff. I am subscribed to these AI pages on Facebook, and there is some. It's almost satanic. It's almost demonic, actually. What AI can do. Like, I saw a video of this cookie jar, and it looked like it was cookies, but as you watch the video, it was like puppies, and it was like this is what like, I've never done drugs, but this is what dropping acid feels like. Like, it was like it's so strange. And it's like, my favorite ones are like the political ones, like of course we all saw during the Springfield thing of like the Trump saving puppies and cats and all that kind of stuff. Like, those are funny. But I also have another album that I put out under conservative, and it's like a rock and roll, classic rock themed. It's talking about big pharma. It's talking about being healthy, and there's a song on there called "Make America Healthy Again," and I produced that after listening to Robert F. Kennedy's podcast on, I think, Sean Ryan. I'm pretty sure, but one of his podcasts that he did, it was like a 3 or 4 hour podcast, and I listened to it, and I was just like, I have some thoughts I want to put out there, but I don't know how to express that, and so I made that whole album in like a couple days. So, but it's AI. I just put in the words to make it. So anyway, enough of me rambling on. This has been an incredibly long podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate your time, and have a great and wonderful day and the rest of your week. Be sure to follow me on my backup. I should have started this podcast with that, but my backup page. I have a backup page over on Instagram, Okie Patriot 1776. That's my new page. You can follow me on X, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on this podcast, wherever you get podcasts. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great and wonderful day.
When these stars crying out loud, red stripes beating on the ground, heart of gold, lost in the crowd, freedom whispers can't be found. Politicians and their lies, dirty deals under the skies. We the people pay the price, but love runs deep through all cries. I love you, dear America, though you break my heart today. I stand steadfast, America, in the face of all decay. Mountains high and rivers wide, dreams that crash like ocean tide. Honor falls, but we will rise. Spirit strong won't be denied. Washington's games, poison air, sold our souls, do they care? But in the wind, the song's still there. Unity in all despair. I love you, dear America, though you break my heart today. I stand steadfast, America, in the face of all decay. Mountains high and rivers wide, dreams that crash like ocean tide. honor falls, but we will rise. Spirit strong won't be denied. Washington's games poison air, so